Hi, I'm Monty, CEO of Topiku. We're tackling the global waste management problem in the fashion industry by creating and providing a sustainable, transparent supply chain for brands. 80 billion square meters, that's the amount of leftover fabric that gets sent to landfills each year. That's an area large enough to cover the entire country of Ireland. With landfills in developing countries overflowing and clogging up rivers, streets, and gutters, the communities that are most affected are also the ones least adequately equipped, let alone informed, to tackle this ever-growing problem. So our solution? We started with creating an apparel line out of 100% upcycled and recycled materials. In the past year, we've been developing and nurturing supply-side partnerships in various manufacturing communities across Indonesia and did over $25,000 in sales last year. As we shift to collaborating with larger brands, our timing in the market could not be better. As expenditure on ethical clothing continues to grow and shoppers put more emphasis on sustainability and conscious consumerism, with shoppers spending up $3.6 billion in 2015 in the US alone. So the Topiku difference. Together with the help of our hat-making friends in Chigondewa, we provide them with all upcycled and recycled materials to work with. Instead of standard PVC virgin plastic that is used in hat brims, typically with other companies, we salvage plastic buckets from landfills, crush them, melt them, and then remold them into brims. As for the rest of our materials, we look at surrounding manufacturing communities and source their waste through upcycling. Leather scraps are taken from shoemakers and belt makers and then transformed into patches and straps for hats. Then for the main base of the hat, that is leftover textile waste sourced from garment production and uniform production, which then is put as the main base of the hat. So by saving the materials from ending up in landfills, we're able to also protect the landfills, as well as create incentives for manufacturers to hold on to their waste. Our community of hat makers in Chigondewa is the only employer of women in the area, so we were able to provide fair labor and fair jobs and ethical labor to both men and women. And so now brands are approaching us and asking us to handle their supply and manufacturing side, which is creating a whole new avenue for our business model. At Topiku, we believe in a circular economy. So the issues we tackle are fundamentally multi-sector and frankly massive real-world problems, which is why we're firm believers in collaboration and partnerships. First, materials are collected through various home industries across the island of Java, purchased by us, and then provided to our hat makers in Chigondewa. We produce them for just over $5 and sell them for $35. With these large margins, we're able to reinvest into furthering our mission through the sponsorship of health insurance for trash pickers, as well as funding waste management education programs and cleanup programs in the communities we work with. These are all achieved through our partnership with Waste for Change, who is a fellow social enterprise of my good friend Sano, who has since become the advisor of waste to the President Jokowi of Indonesia, an otherwise absent government entity that presides over trash. And our collaboration with larger brands such as Indosol and Wanderer will be making slightly less per unit by wholesaling them at $10 to $12 a unit, but that doesn't really bother us because we also realize we have the bigger capacity to reduce tens of thousands of pounds of trash from landfills. And word spreads fast when we're doing good things, which is why we have a growing pipeline of several other brands that are working together, that we're wanting to work together with us. And with more work, we can make a bigger social impact. More orders equals more trash and material saved, which equals bigger profits for home industries, which equals more opportunity for women and men to work, which equals more environmental, social, and economic growth in these developing communities. With our dedication to industrial ecology, we will create the basis for sustainable community growth in these areas. And we are the team to do it. Having moved between Indonesia and California my whole life, I've developed the necessary skill set to develop and nurture these supply-side partnerships, as well as grow our network of sustainable manufacturers. My business partner, Anthony, he's a Teal Fellow and recently sold a multi-million-dollar startup called Envoy Now, which was started at USC. With 3 communities in our network, 2 collaborations in motion, and 1 big mission, we cannot be more excited to disrupt this multi-billion-dollar industry of fashion. Thank you.
Let's see, how much supply is out there? Like, is it a supply an issue, like, for all the raw materials that you guys are foraging?
So currently, we've focused on recycling plastic buckets, which there's no problem on sourcing. But with the upcycling side, we source waste from garment production, which is very inconsistent. So currently, these hats are made from cotton jacket waste. So these are left over from uniform manufacturing. But the problem with that scalability was the inconsistency of the source, which is why we've since transitioned into partnering with another village that works with taking old clothes and transforming it into recycled cotton, which is an infinite source for us in comparison.
How long have you been working on this?
The idea came about 3 summers ago when I was doing social work with this organization called the Excess Project. I pretty much pitched them a hat idea with some of the waste they're making. It makes some pretty ugly, obviously recycled products, and they actually rejected my hat idea. So after that, I took it upon myself to create this hat company.
You're in school here right now?
Yeah.
What year are you?
I'm a 4th year senior.
Okay, cool, man.
That's great.
Ask some questions, because I've got a few more, but I don't want to dominate all the time.
Keep going, we'll jump in.
Yeah, I don't have anything right now.
So go back to your team slide. So it was you and your partner. Who's the rest of the group in there on the team?
Yeah.
Who's working on this full time?
So currently, I'm working on this full time. So McKenna and Bear are in charge of marketing. Bear is in charge of social media, and Casey's in charge of our surfing outreach, which is contacting brand influencers as well as setting up pop-up shops. But otherwise, I'm in charge of all the manufacturing, product design.
But you're doing this full time while you're doing school?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's part time with your school.
Exactly.
And what's Anthony's role?
So he's currently in charge of business growth and financials, the financial side.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually also working on 2 other startups. So this is less of a full-time thing for him.
What was the one he sold?
Envoy. So it's a food delivery service. It's spread to about 25 different campuses nationwide, and recently got acquired by Joyrun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, who bought him?
Joyrun.
Joyrun.
Yeah.
Can you make these over there where you find the product?
Yes, so everything is made in the hat making villages, which are right next to the landfills. So what's really cool about where the hats are made is they're made in an area called Chigondewa, which is an area where every different village has their own specialization. So where we work directly with hat makers, where we source our leather from shoemakers and belt makers from the neighboring village of Cibaduyut, and they have excess leather scraps that always get thrown away.
What island are you on?
This is all in Java in Indonesia.
Java, right.
Yeah.
You're in Indonesia, I just wasn't sure which island.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's great that you're looking out for the community there, right? Because you're giving them jobs.
Exactly.
Covering your health. So is there potential for you to scale this up in different areas?
Oh,
and kind of
definitely.
Specialize it to whatever their
Definitely.
needs and resources are?
So depending on exactly what their specializations are. So currently we also make shirts, which are over here. So these are made out of organic bamboo cotton, and the pockets are waste from our hat manufacturing process. So that's sent to another community called Karawang, where we have a friend, her name is Ninda. So when we first started, she was sewing everything by hand, and then in the past year, she's grown to just be the boss. She doesn't sew anything, and she has 5 women working for her.
How much are you selling right now?
In terms of units.
Yeah.
So we haven't been too focused on the selling side, but we've sold around just shy of 1,000 units in the past year of both hats and shirts.
And you've only been selling for a year?
Yeah.
And what's the distribution channel?
So our main distribution channel was our Kickstarter campaign. So we had a goal of about 16K. This was last year, January, and we raised $21,000. So we reached about 200 orders from there. And a lot of the donations were way over the price of $35 that we were selling for.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then, so that's a couple hundred units, and then
Yeah.
the other 800 units, how, is it just all direct?
It's usually through pop-up shops and then soft marketing online. So we haven't been too comfortable with creating a hard marketing plan because we knew our supply chain constraints. But I was actually in Indonesia 2 weeks ago, so I wasn't able to attend the workshop. But I was working on securing a new connection to this community that makes recycled cotton from old clothes. So that one will allow us to have more than enough material to scale up.
And so the distribution plan going forward then is, you had some slide on it with, so direct to consumer, but also you've got a deal with,
With Indosol and Wander. So
those are retailers?
these are other social enterprises. So Indosol makes sandals out of recycled tires. Wander works together with bone carvers in Indonesia. So these are all companies that want branded hats, but don't want them made unsustainably. So in change, they find us and they want to work together with us. As well as these are also companies that work together with us in Indonesia, and we have a pretty nice like networking community of social enterprises that are working together to help better some communities and lessen waste.
So is there a retail distribution plan?
Currently, we're just doing the online sales and then possibly go into boutiques. We've gotten some inquiries, but we haven't had enough stock to accept the wholesale deals. So right now we're focused on individual to customer as well as starting these collaborations for making hats.
What's a pop-up shop look like for you guys?
A pop-up shop, so they're usually sustainably oriented or fair trade oriented pop-up shops. We've done about 4 of them so far. Some in San Francisco, some in Los Angeles. I've done one in Jakarta. So we definitely get a lot more of. It's a lot easier to sell in the States because consumers are a lot more conscious of waste problems.
Where is that, in LA or San Francisco? I'm just curious, what is it like at a farmer's market kind of thing, or what is it?
So with the one in San Francisco we've done, it was literally just us and Indosol in an area called Ocean Beach. And then the one in Los Angeles was through Urban Air Market, and that is more of it's all retail products, but they're all sustainably minded.
Cool. I'd love to see some in your pitch. So the pitch is really great. I'd love to see some. So a couple things that I'd love to see in there is how you're selling it. I'd love to see just some pictures of this pop-up stuff.
Okay.
And I'd love to see some numbers, like the fact that you're out there, that you ran a successful Kickstarter. That's something to be proud of.
Okay.
I wouldn't hide that. I'd be talking about that.
Definitely.
And also, I'd be talking about how many units that you've actually sold, and kind of, and that leads right into saying like where you're selling these things, and this is what you've done.
Okay.
And also, I'd love to hear about your strategy going forward. It's going to focus mostly on online sales.
Yeah.
Because you're not at the point where you can fill any large retail, any wholesale orders yet. So
Definitely.
That makes sense. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you.
Really.
Last quick thing, the name,
Topiku?
yes.
So that means it means in Indonesian.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So did you grow up in this town?
I spent the first 6 years of my life in Jakarta, and then I moved to San Diego, but I was constantly moving back and forth like throughout my whole life, all the way through high school.
Got it.
But
Where is this town that you're?
Chigondewa. So this is
Where's
so.
that in relation to Jakarta?
So Jakarta is roughly 3 hours away from Chigondewa. Chigondewa is about 3 hours northwest of Jakarta towards the mountains. It's at the base of the mountains.
How'd you find this place?
So it was pretty cool actually. So I started off by wanting to make hats out of trash 3 summers ago, and then after they got rejected, I wanted to go forward and find a manufacturing community. So I actually found the location of a factory, and this was the summer after summer 2015. On the way to this factory, the road was actually flooded in the area, so we had to turn around, and we were stuck in this completely random village. And we stopped and asked for directions and said, "Hey, we can't get to this factory. We're trying to make some hats. Like, how do we get back?" And the people we were talking to ended up being hat makers, a small little village of hat makers called Desa Rahayu. So from then, I've been coming back and just working together with them. And yeah.
That's so I always like to have a lot of personal elements in these pitches, so people can identify with you and therefore identify with your product. And
Definitely.
Your business. I would lead with that.
For sure.
Right there, how you grew up in Jakarta, spent your time traveling.
So the
back
connection
and
to
forth,
Indonesia.
so you can understand exactly how you ended up in this remote village 3.5 hours from Jakarta.
Definitely.
That's a great story.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right, thank you so much.
Nice work.
Thanks so much.